Hello, good evening, good afternoon, and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Lucy Davis, and today I'm going to be talking to you about the dark night of your soul. Not my soul, not David's soul, your soul. So it's going to be a really happy, jolly chat today, no doubt. So how are we? I'm just going to give it a couple of minutes to build. I've been really slack. I'm going to be honest with you. I've been really slack. I literally put this out about 30 minutes ago, and we've been out and having to do quite a lot of things today. So it's been a lastminute.com. I was actually supposed to be filming a video with somebody else a few hours ago, and we were out, so I couldn't even do that. So yeah, it's been a bit of a higgledy-piggledy day. So if any of you are in any of my groups, please do go in them and just share and let them know that we are live. And Mahoney is just making me a cup of tea, which is very, very, very sweet. So he will be joining us imminently. Oh, speak of the devil, and he shall appear.
I'll be back in a sec.
Okay, he's just doing his thing. How are we all? Are we all good? Sending much love back to you guys as well. I hope you're well. I hope you are enjoying yourselves. I hope you're doing your thing. It's been an interesting last week. Yep, we drink tea out of glasses. No teacups here. No teacups for us. And fair play to him. He's also on the herbal teas. The man has changed a lot since we have been together, so it's very, very interesting. Okay, so let's just start there. Hi Denise, I hope you're well, babe. Things have been really odd this last week, and this is why we've decided this evening to actually speak about the dark night of the soul. Yes, of course the water's clean. This is me you're talking to. I don't do anything unless it's filtered and mineralized and all sorts of things like that. So you don't need to worry about me and the water. This is one of the things that I'm particularly anal about, although David will probably tell you that there's lots of things that I'm anal about when it comes to our health. What's that? You're gonna have a read whilst we're doing this?
Land Rover's Owner International. So
that's not what we need right now.
If this episode is not more interesting than this is my backup. It's actually, I bought it for a friend of mine in England. He's into Land Rover, so just found it now. I forgot about it.
So thanks for bringing that to the party, babe.
I'm putting it there in case we forget it, because I won't bring it to him unless it's on the table. How are we, everybody? I missed last week. I can't even remember what I was doing. I was away, I think. Was I traveling or out somewhere? I was in England, wasn't I? Yeah. So the amount of airports we're still hitting is still on the increase.
I'm a bit concerned that you don't remember where you were just a week ago.
Well, if there's that many, you get the all blend into one. How's the tea?
Cheers. What are we drinking tea? Good health?
Oh, that's nice.
So David, how's your week been? I was just explaining that my week has been a little bit
it's been
all over the place, but
it's been intense, actually, as usual. There's a lot going on between the broadcasts and the different information that were coming in. I don't know if Lucy's told you or not, but she's been talking a lot in her sleep. You got to leave that there. You got to leave it there. So that one is the one. So Lucy's been talking a lot in her sleep, and a lot of the information that she's been talking about, I've been mentally memorizing, I suppose is the best way of doing that, and then talking about it the next day.
Somebody can't hear us.
Somebody can't hear us. Well,
turn the volume up on your phone, babe, first and foremost.
Yeah. Where are
just
your
in
settings?
case.
On here.
Oh, you talk and I'll find the settings.
Should be okay.
Sound. You're not doing a good job of talking.
Yeah, sorry.
There we go. That's what we want, right?
Yeah, that's it. Show this in the menu bar. That sounds
good. Are we okay? Is the sound better now, guys?
Sounds good.
Is it better now? We've actually linked up the microphone rather than using the inbuilt one. So perfect. Hopefully you can hear us okay. Right, so where were we going with this? Can I just no, in fact you carry on. Where were you going with this? So I'm chatting it a lot in my sleep. Like, it's a good job I'm not having an affair, because I would have stitched myself up probably in the last week.
Well, it sounds like you are, because the amount of people you're talking about, it sounds like you're doing some sort of secret meetings in the middle of nowhere. Yeah, there's a lot of channeling going on as she's sleeping, and she's now decided, for whatever reason, she's saying a lot of this stuff out loud, so it wakes me up, which I'm fine with. And then I'm sort of, okay, that's interesting.
Payback for snoring.
That's interesting. That's interesting. So a lot of the intel is coming out through Lucy's channeling while she's been sleeping. And this is where we're going to go tonight. This sounds terrifying, doesn't it? The dark night of the soul. Is that what you've called it?
Yeah, the dark night of your soul.
Your soul. It sounds terrifying, this, but when I started to ask more about it, I said, oh, that sounds a bit intimidating and scary. It's more about where everybody has a choice of what to do. So Lucy thought that's a good idea to talk about it. I still think it's a bit of a heavy subject, but we can lighten it up as well, because there is choices, there are possibilities. So it doesn't necessarily mean you're all necessarily stuffed. It means that you're going to have to make some decisions in life and choices.
Yeah. So the reason David brought up into your consciousness that I have been talking a lot in my sleep, and I just want to say thank you to whoever said it's my birthday week. It is my birthday week. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. He's like, how can I have an argument with you so I don't need to celebrate your birthday? I love birthdays. He's so much. So basically the reason he was talking about that is yesterday I was sat over the other side of the table and I was just channeling. I was doing my conscious conversations preparation work, and I just all of a sudden just started frantically tapping, and I said to David, like every now and again I'd be like and then obviously all the channeling would come through, and one of the things that I channeled at that point was that people are going to go through the dark night of their soul. Like we are going to see a wave of people really going through that process right now. And as awful as it was, I kind of said to you, I think your dark night of your soul is about to come upon us, babe. And there's been many, many other things that I've spoken about when I've been asleep, things that we've spoken about personally. And, as all of us have at the moment, we've all got a lot of personal stuff going on in our lives. And it's just, it just hit me really hard yesterday. And thankfully, David's in a place where he can hear, rather than getting angry, he can hear what I say, which is why it is a bit of a triggering subject. It is a bit of a sensitive subject. But at the same time, we're both so out there in the public that we must communicate this stuff as it's unfolding, right?
We must communicate it.
And it's so yesterday, like I say, I got this message and I didn't actually deliver it to my conscious conversation community yesterday because I just didn't have time. I was talking about other things. So we actually thought today it will be an amazing time to just start touching on this and just put a little bit of perspective around it. So first and foremost, I believe that if you go through a dark night of your soul, and I believe this is on the table for everybody, you will end up being a much better version of yourself than you ever think is capable. Oh, I like that. Pull me in close.
We've got to get close. It's very tight, isn't it?
So, it's really first and foremost, let's honor ourselves that if we are chosen to go through a dark night of our soul, it means that we're very special. There are many people that go through life that have minimal deaths and minimal situations that create the reaction of a dark night of the soul. And if you are one of those people, again, no judgment, but if you are somebody who has been picked for this, and quite interestingly and ironically, my dark night of the soul occurred in 2013. In April 2013, I got a phone call from my mum almost 10 years ago saying my granddad had a number of weeks left to live. And, that was the start of the dark night of my soul. That was the slippery slope that I started going down. Now, some of you have read that in my book. However, a lot of you haven't read about this. So I just want to, give you a little bit of consciousness on this. At the time that my granddad passed and going through all of this, I hadn't spoken to my dad for 7 years. So my granddad was my father figure, if you like. So he was my world. He had held my hand through so many situations that probably my dad should have held my hand on. So he was like my hero. And in the last 8 weeks, so he got given 12 weeks to live. And in the last 8 weeks of his life, he basically started sharing things with me that he had never shared with anybody, like he was a boxer in the army, like, Lucy, I really do need you to recognize that you're destined for much bigger and better things. Like, why are you choosing unhappiness? Why are you staying in a career that you don't like? And it was really, really, really interesting that I had to go through that, because on the level whereby everybody was watching me. Like, I was good. I had a lot of money. I had my stuff together. I was in a relationship. I had this, I had that. You know, it was as if I had everything. And actually, I had nothing, but my granddad could see through that. He didn't fall for the fact that I was pretending that everything was okay to keep up appearances, which is what we do. So obviously, my granddad eventually passed, and went on a bit of a spiral. I was away for a few months, and then all of a sudden one day I woke up and I was like, I've got to go to Thailand. I don't know why I've got to go. And that was when everything started to happen. I met people that led me on to basically change the trajectory of my life. The following April, so a year on from when he got diagnosed with this 12 weeks, I essentially burnt out physically. You know, 12 months of being wired, let alone all the years before, the partying, everything like that took its toll, and it took me out. Now, I know, because of the consciousness that I'm at now, that was my soul contract. I agreed to lose my health to go through my dark night of the soul and wake up. I committed to my granddad being the catalyst for this for me. So yours may show up in a divorce. Yours may show up in somebody passing. Yours may show up with ill health. Yours may show up with something like abuse or anything like that. So let's just like air all of that first and foremost. There are many, many, many different ways. It doesn't have to be that somebody's going to die for you to be able to go through your dark night of the soul. It is something that is very deep within you, deeply ingrained, that will be like boom, and you will go through it. Now, a couple of you have asked this question. Sorry, babe, I'll let you speak in a sec. And you're like, can you only have one dark night of the soul? I would like to say no. I believe, in my experience, you have one massive beat around the head from the universe. You have the rug taken from under you. You literally are broken. And then there are many other things that take place from that. So, you know, there will be certain things that happen in relationships, certain things that happen with your family that will kind of get you close to that edge. And it is just elevation, elevation, elevation. What did you want to say, babe?
Well, how do you know if you've been through it or not? What are the levels? Because, you know what, let's say you have a bad relationship and you have a bad breakup, and your cat runs away and your dog dies and your car breaks down. And how do you know that's not the dark night of the soul? Or how do you know that it is the dark night of the soul?
Really good question. I love that.
See?
What do you mean, see? What does that mean? I'm not going to answer it? Or?
So identify the markers that you know that this is what you're talking about.
Well, this is a personal thing, right? This is a personal thing. When you go through a dark night of the soul, your whole existence changes. Mm-hmm. Your whole existence changes. There is no way you can go back to that person before. I'm going to be real with you, and I get that divorce, I've never been married, so I don't know what divorce is like. However, I haven't experienced pain in a relationship that has completely transformed my life. Yes, it's changed elements of me, but it wasn't like a literal, oh my God, epiphany, like something needs to change, like a near-death experience, for example. Near-death experience is another really good example of a dark night of the soul. So
I've had a lot of them.
In answer to your question, have you ever been like hospitalized for a period of time whereby you've literally been like knocking on death's door?
Yeah.
So that did it transform your life in any way? I
don't know. I was 18 at the time.
Okay, so potentially not then. Potentially not, because you're of an age whereby you weren't quite ready to see it, but it depends where you were on your journey. Okay, like some 18-year-olds, they break their back or something like that, and then what happens is they are in like a coma for a while, and then they get brought out of the coma and they're like, no way, and they've met parts of them that they've never seen before, and that's it, that's their dark night of the soul. But for most of us at 18 years of age, we're all right, and we kind of get back on and we go back and do the same things that we've done before. When you go through a dark night of the soul, from my perspective, it is like literally life changing. Like, but you are not going to go back. It
doesn't just last for one night. It can go on for weeks.
Oh, years.
Yes.
Like, it can go on for as long as you are prepared not to change. And this is it. This is why I think it's very important for us to speak about it. People think, oh, it's a dark night of the soul. That means one night. No, this is a period.
See, this is what I'm sitting here as you are listening to this. And just because I have this person in my life every day doesn't mean to say that I've got any more advances on information than you do. So what I'm doing, I'm sitting here thinking, have I had this over the years? Have there been several of these incidents where there's life-changing events that would change your direction and personality and the way that you perceive things and the way that you address things? So I think I've had several of them, several dark nights of the soul. I'm greedy. I've had more. If you want me to take yours for you, don't ask, because I'm not going to go through another one. So maybe I've had several. What about having several which are smaller life-changing events?
Dark night of the soul is not small. This is like literally you get rattled to your core. You get rattled to your core. So just going back to my journey again, I believe my dark night of the soul ran from 2013 to 2018. That's what I believe. I believe my dark night of the soul was 5 years. Now, in those 5 years, I truly, truly, truly believe I had some of the most magical experiences of my life. But the final piece of the puzzle for my dark night of the soul was when I nearly died. And I met Archangel Michael, I met Archangel Gabriel, and I was like, I clearly haven't done what I need to do. Like, this is the moment that it changes. But there had been many transformational moments. You guys, like, read it in the book. There's many transformational periods condensed into a small amount of time.
To Michael and Gabriel look similar? No, totally different. Sorry, just struck
random question, but it's a very valid one.
How do you know who's who? They're not wearing name badges, are they?
No, honestly.
Soy Miguel.
You can't ever. I can't explain it. It's there's a knowing, there's an energy, there's a frequency, and there is just a familiarity with it.
See, I've never really asked for that. You know, I've been in a few situations. I was on a yacht once, we were nearly sinking, and the captain and the co-pilot, the second in command, were praying, please, Jesus, please, let us don't, please, kill us, Jesus. And I thought, you know, this is not where I'm going to die. I don't know about these two clowns. So I've never actually been forced onto my knees to pray for whatever you believe in.
Oh, please stop talking like this.
Why?
Because you know what I feel is happening.
You're going to bring it on.
So please just stop.
No, the universe. I've never asked the universe for much, because I think it has a lot more things to deal with my day-to-day activities. So I kind of accept the cards. This is one of the things I always stand by. I say, listen, I think life is like sitting at a poker table. You know what? You got to deal with the cards that you get, and sometimes the hand is going to be rough, sometimes it's going to be great, and you just got to play the hand. And it's all about how you deal with the hand. You know, you can't cry just because you get a bad hand one day. I don't like this doesn't have any aces in.
Yeah, that's not a dark night of your soul. That's just a hissy fit from an ego perspective.
I'm not saying it is. I'm just saying it's very hard to identify, unless that you're saying you got to give them some very clear markers about what it is. Your story about what you're relating, you know, that you ended up in a hospital meeting Archangel Michael and Gabriel, and it gave you a proper shudder.
But that was the last piece of the puzzle. So
yeah.
It started 5 years earlier, and it had just been a catalyst of events that had basically bombarded me into having to change my work, having to change my outlook on life, having to change my diet, having to change, like, literally I changed everything about me. And that's how the whole of my business has been created, because I went through a dark night of the soul. Like, I can't say to you, if you woke up and just went back to your normal job, I'm sorry to say it, guys, you haven't had a dark night of your soul. If you woke up and went back to the same relationship, you know, if it was the relationship that sent you in that way, like, you haven't had a dark night of your soul. It's extremely, extremely important that we recognize that, yes, there is trauma. Yes, there are things that happen in our life, and yes, they are really horrible and painful, but you will know when you have a dark night of your soul. You will never, ever, 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 ever be that same person again. Like, you just can't be. There is no way that you can go back to it. So shall I explain? I feel like you wanted to say something, babe.
I'm just saying, which camera are we on?
I've got no idea.
We're not on the good one. We're on the laptop.
Do you want to sort the settings out?
I don't know how to do it.
Oh, come on. You've got the same laptop as me, babe.
All right, I'll have a look. You talk.
Okay, I'll talk. I don't know what to do in here. Display, maybe? I don't know. Anyway, so we're about as useful as each other, really, aren't we? So it's extremely important that you recognize that there are different stages of a dark night of your soul. The first one is very much what I like to call as the collapse. Okay, so I actually wrote on a notepad just a minute ago three stages. So the first one is what I'm going to call the awakening, if you like. Yeah, you're getting close now. If you double click on it, will that take you anyway? Go to general.
Go on, keep going.
So sorry, I get really easily distracted. So if the first stage of the dark night of the soul is the awakening, it's the recognition, it's the realization that something needs to change in your life. So I'm going to use my example because it's very, very straightforward. It's my example. I truly believe. What are you doing that for?
I'm playing. Go on, keep going.
Oh God, help us all. If we cut off, it's him, all right?
I won't be cutting you off.
About edit.
Yeah.
So basically, oh no, we don't want that.
Keep going.
Basically, stop. I'm getting really distracted here. So basically, the piece of the awakening is everything being stripped from you. That is the part of the awakening journey. So let's say, for example, and this is actually what David and I spoke about yesterday, is let's say, for example, you are somebody who is extremely obsessed with money, or extremely obsessed with sex, or extremely obsessed with relationships, or I don't know, whatever it is, whatever you're obsessed with, just focus on whatever that is for you right at this precise moment in time. That is likely where you will be hit for your dark night of the soul. Okay, so when I went through my dark night of the soul, I was, as you guys know, earning a lot of money working on the trading floor. I was very close to my family. I had everything materialistically. Like, I was literally Little Miss Material. I had the most amazing shoes, the most amazing handbags, every single thing.
Still got a lot of them, by the way.
No, he talks shit. Honestly,
you've got a lot of them,
but you've got no idea what it
you
used
had
to look
before.
like. It literally used to be like rows of Louboutins, rows of Jimmy Choos, rows of it. Like, honestly, I was that person. So, and I'll openly admit it, I'm not that person anymore. I don't even, Mahoney does like to wear them, especially in stockings as well.
Throw them out the window. Could throw them out the window on the highway. That would be good.
So, like, I was that material person. So what we've got to recognize is that's where we're going to get hit. So what happened with me is that I had to have my health to be able to go to work to earn my money. So they stripped my health, knowing that I would have to do something drastic, i.e. change my job, quit my job, or whatever. So I had to make a decision. I was in this place, right, whereby I said to my mum, I know I've got to quit my job. Like, it is killing me. I know I've got to quit my job. And my mum said to me, you're crazy. Like, you've got mortgages, you've got this, you've got that. Like, why are you doing this? Blah, blah, blah. Like, get your head together. Like, you're having a mental breakdown.
Yeah, nothing.
And I basically had to sit there and deal with that. Plus my boss telling me I was having a mental breakdown, and everybody else telling me I was absolutely batshit crazy. Go on, say it.
Cheers. That's when you first realised.
Which is your bad rib?
The other side, thank God.
So, basically, I went through this, and I had to sit there and look at myself and say, right, am I going to sit here and keep everybody else comfortable and stay comfortable myself with the money, or am I going to surrender it all? And that was the most challenging piece of the puzzle. When you are somebody who could, like, and I'm not bragging when I say this, I could go out and spend, thousands of pounds on handbags in a day and not give a shit about it, and that's, again, it's not to trigger you guys, it's the reality of the position that I was in. I was in a very fortunate position. I'd worked my butt off, but I'd made myself very sick at the consequences of my actions, of wanting to be wealthy, of wanting to be stable, of wanting to be secure, of wanting to look the part and be the part. So I had to tell my mum and people that I love that I was stepping out of my role. And I kid you not, they all wanted me to be sectioned. They all wanted me to seek serious mental health because they thought that I was losing my marbles, when in reality, I was waking up. Phase number 1 of the dark night of the soul. You have to shed everything, and you have to be prepared to shed everything. And this is where most people fight the dark night of the soul, and they end up getting sick, or they end up resisting, or they end up going back to a lower level of consciousness because they're not prepared to surrender. Now, as we know, like, it paid off for me. I surrendered and I lost. Oh, I didn't lose everything, obviously, but I went and I earned a hell of a lot less money working for myself for a while. But now I'm, earning amazing money. I live an amazing lifestyle. I can do whatever I need to do. So, but it took years of having to deal with that. Oh my God, I could easily go back to corporate and be earning X amount of £1,000 a month. Or, I went back to corporate for 2 years after the first part of my awakening part of the dark night of the soul. I was earning £1,200 a day. A day.
Have you got that 20 quid I gave you a couple of weeks ago?
Sorry, I haven't got it. No.
Every time we go to a different country, I give Lucy local currency. I say, here.
That's not bloody true, Mr. Mahoney. Your nose just grew.
And she never spends it. She just
doesn't spend it. Is what happens. David says, hey, babe, have some cash. And I just keep it in my purse and I just pay for stuff myself because this is what I do. And then David would be like,
hey, you've got any of them yet?
Babe, you remember those euros I gave you? Or babe, those pounds? I'm like, yeah, babe, here, have it back. Like, that's just what I do. Like, I don't spend. I've gone so differently.
And can I tell them about the currency that we found?
Oh, go on.
When she was moving, the house was in pretty good state, but she just dropped this envelope on me. She says, have a look at this. There must have been about 19 different currencies in there. It looked. I said, do you carry this around with you? She says, no. I thought, that's good because it looks like you're a hooker who's just flown back from Dubai. Because there's about 15 to 20 different currencies in there.
And the rest.
Between, 50 quid here and 150 there. So I said, I can't even calculate how much all this is. It was just, and it's still in an envelope somewhere, isn't it? I said, take it to the Bureau de Change at the airport. Just do it. Because if you get caught with that, that's like having 5 phones in your purse, isn't it?
Didn't you know my previous role was a lap dancer? I wasn't a hooker. I was an elite lap dancer.
It's what it looks like, That was to fall out your purse on a date. The guy would be like, "What's going on?"
He'd be like, "Oh, I'm in for a good night tonight."
or you're some sort of Jason Bourne intelligence operative.
Well, maybe I was.
That also could be true. Checking for different passports.
That would make a lot of sense, wouldn't it?
It would make a lot of sense.
Well, let's not talk about different passports, sweetheart.
Oh yeah, I've had a few.
Because
I've had a few. Don't worry.
Anyway, so go on.
Dark Night of the Soul. So. Yeah, your recollection. Here's me. I like to play. Lucy talks things the way that she puts things on the table. It makes me go in a slightly different direction. So what I'm going to be doing now with this information, I'm going to pulling it apart, saying, okay, is it possible that you've already had these? Because at my age now, I'm 51, and I've made it and lost it several times. One of these incidences, I had a piece of land. And I gave it away. It caused so much aggravation and hatred and mistrust and sneaky business activity. I said, I don't want that in my life anymore. So I gave it away. It was worth over $1 million, this land. And I said, you know what? I'm going to gift it. And I did, to clear it, because I think you do have to hit rock bottom to be able to get back up again. And I think this is some of what I'm analyzing now. Have you really gotten into that space of darkness and despair where you just don't know where else to turn? That, for me personally, I'm about to start saying, Lord Jesus, help me. Seriously, when you utter those words, it's not just said in jest, oh, Lord Jesus, here he comes again. I can't stand that guy. But when you reach such a dark place of despair that you have nowhere else to turn, this is what I think Lucy's trying to say. Is that true?
Do you want me to answer whether that was a dark night of your soul or not?
No.
Okay, cool.
No, I've had several of them, but
we'll talk about that privately.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. We'll pull it apart. I think it would take too long. My life's very complicated, and 9 different languages and 25 different careers. So
I'm the weirdo for having the different currencies.
Well, you are. Just change them. Why carrying them around with you like old luggage?
It's like savings. It's like savings.
You don't even know.
Scheme.
You don't even know how much is in there.
I know. Anyway, so there are many different avenues of a dark night of the soul. For me personally, it is to that point where literally you cannot get up. You cannot breathe almost. You are at that point where you are being strangled, and God is essentially saying to you, it's time to make a decision. This is your choice. Are you going to up level, or are you going to stay where you are? Because remember, all of this is a choice. Now, if you may take an action like giving away some land, but then you just carry on as normal, like your choice is like, right, I'm doing with that, and then that's that, and nothing else really changes, then is that a dark night of the soul? Like, it's down to your perspective. But the thing is, the second step of the dark night of the soul is around the enlightenment. So if you think about it, it's like your initiation, if you like. Are you serious? And maybe you kind of get a little bit of what you've got to deliver, because your awakening journey, maybe it's shown you your health, or maybe it's shown you love, or maybe it's shown you self-love, like, which is what I got shown really interestingly. Like, the word love used to make me cringe before my granddad died. It did. Anyone would say it and I'd be like, oh, it's a sticky word, it's icky, it's this, that, and the other. And now I say it a lot.
Not to me, you don't. Yeah, I love that cup of tea. Maybe you might say
talk
that.
Nonsense.
I love that nice plate of vegan food you made. That vegan omelette was amazing. I love it. Thank you. This sort of thing you're saying.
How are you feeling today, babe?
Argumentative, maybe.
A little bit. I'm like, okay.
With that, I think it always boils down to it. This is what you always come back to: love, isn't it? When it gets taken away from you, you feel yourself going distant, going dark, and then when you come back, love brings you back into the light. So it's an emotion and a word that is very prominent in all of this journey, and you don't really appreciate it until you get into the journey and you think, okay, what's important here? And it is love. If you've lost it or you're seeking it, you'll know about it. And if you're in the middle of it, then you should appreciate it. And I always end all my broadcasts, stay in the vibration of love, appreciate the people that you love and that love you, that are around you.
You should take your own bloody advice.
Shouldn't I?
Everyone's like, we can see it's written over. Guys, it's not. He's just being a wind-up merchant today. Like, he knows, we know, like, that we don't need to. He's just being a wind-up little shit.
I'm just going to get some water, guys. I'll be right back.
Is the heating on?
Yeah.
I'm like sweating here.
Yeah.
He's such a weirdo, honestly. He like has it at 29 degrees. Like I like the heat, but blimey. Weirdo. Anyway, as I was saying, in the awakening, right? In the awakening journey, it's painful, it hurts, it's nasty. Guys, don't forget to hit the thumbs up button as well, please. I've just realised there's 111 of you on and only 30 thumbs up. So if you could please do that, that'd be really helpful. Let me know in the comments if you feel like you've been through an awakening journey. Let me know if you feel you've hit the dark night of the soul. Let me know if you feel your dark night of your soul is coming. Like, please, please, please do just like start letting me know all of this stuff, so then obviously I can start answering some questions. But the first, oh, thank you, babe. Is this from the tap?
Yeah,
just
toilet.
Just as a payback.
I scooped it out the toilet.
How funny.
From the toilet.
So, we've got to recognize that the awakening journey is not easy. It's not like when people talk about their healing journey, they just think, oh, everything's going to come back online, everything's going to be really pleasant, everything's going to be really nice. It's absolute nonsense. It is painful, it hurts, it disrupts you, it creates shifts in your family, it creates shifts in your personal, it creates shifts in every area of your life. What once upon a time you liked, you don't want anymore. You start to see things for actually what they are. That's weird, that just got lighted. Did you notice that? Odd. So that's the first stage of this. The second stage of it is around the initiation process. This is extremely important, whereby you realize that God is laying out your plan. He's laying out your plan, sharing with you, like, these are the options that you've got. Okay, so it might be, like I say, that you're shown that you've got to help people with health, or you've got to help people with wealth, or you've got to help people with love, or you've got to help, whoever. It might just be your little family unit rather than a bigger picture kind of thing. It might be that you're shown that you have to help mankind, with the crazy kind of energy work that we've been doing. And it's in that initiation period that you will get challenged to the max. You will get challenged to stand in your truth and own it and stay in your sovereignty. because it's at this point that we get challenged with, are we actually who we say we are? And this is why the dark night of your soul is going to be happening for a lot of people right now. There is going to be many angles to this, right? There are going to be many people that are not going to have a dark night of the soul, but they're going to check out. People have been talking about this for years, but it's not going to be because of this. It's not going to happen because of that. It's going to be happening because people go, I don't want to shift consciousness. I can't cope with this. I can't feel this frequency anymore. I need to go. This isn't working for me.
Yeah, checking out, which is fine too, because that's their choice. You don't have to take the journey. There are options, which is what we said at the start of it. I mean, death sounds so finalized and beyond coming back, but it's just a doorway you got to go through. We'll all go through it. But I think having the realization of, well, okay, if this is what's happened, I now need to focus on what's my new path going to be. You know, you've been down the old ways, you've lost it, you've come back, you've realized that what's important now, but then you've got to start coming to the understanding of where you're going to go next and what's the next part of your journey going to be.
Can I just say something? Sorry. Yeah. If you find yourself back in a loop, as in you've been through it and now you find yourself back there again, you obviously didn't do what you were supposed to do the previous time. That's my perspective on it. And maybe that will trigger people and maybe whatever. Just as David was speaking then, I was being shown a vision of people going in a loop like that. That's why sometimes I just wander off with my eyes, guys. But I was up there and I could see this person stepping back and back and back into a loop. So recognize that in yourself. If you're like, oh no, I've been through my dark night of the soul, and then all of a sudden it starts happening again. Guys, you didn't do it last time. You didn't quite get there. And this is why I said mine took 5 years. And I actually feel, although it's not a dark night of the soul, there's some shifts that are taking place within me at the moment, which could turn into a dark night of the soul if I don't recognize it and I don't get on with it. Okay. So, you know, we need to recognize the stages of this. I got hit very, very hard in 2013, 2014, literally 2014, my whole life fell apart. I lost everything, like from a 3-dimensional perspective. I went through absolute hell. I lost my health. I lost absolutely everything, not financial because I had plenty of money stashed in the bank, but I lost everything. I lost my sense. I lost my drive. I lost my commitment. I lost absolutely everything. The reason I say my dark night of the soul lasted 5 years is because it was the last piece of the puzzle whereby my health was taken again for another period of time. Now, it had happened a few times in this 5-year period, but that's why I say that it ended at that point, because that was the bit that I said, no fucking more. I'm not doing this again. I'm not going there. And thankfully, nothing has happened with my health in that period of time over the last 5 years. So that's why I know in regards to that element of it. However, there are things, like I say, I don't feel like I'm going through a dark night of the soul at all, but there are things at the moment that are coming up which I know that I need to address, that I know that I need to work through.
Does that include mental health with you? You know, the things that she says while she's sleeping. Who are you? I'm not doing that. No. That's not going to happen. Oh, yeah, that's pretty good. It's like having a whole conversation. And I don't know if I'm at liberty to tell you who was at the meeting. So when she wakes up, I say, who were you talking to last night? It sounded like there's a lot of people were everywhere. Oh, yeah. So she starts naming them. Very interesting stuff. So take the advice from somebody that knows.
Oh, I thought you were going to say that doesn't talk in her sleep and that doesn't talk to dead people and that doesn't talk to ascended masters and archangels and things like that.
Yeah.
Because she's batshit crazy, apparently.
Wakes up, tells me to say, do you want a cup of tea, babe? Would that make it? No, the first thing we do is we talk about it. I find it fascinating. And a lot of the conversation, I figure out what it's about because of what we were doing. Did you talk about where we were last week? Did you talk about that in your last show? Portugal? No? We snuck off to Portugal. Was our first little journey this for 23. And we rented a car in Lisbon and shot around the place, and then went back across the Spanish border, right in the very north of Spain, and then came back all the way back down again to Lisbon and flew home. So we were out 2 nights or 3 nights? 3 nights?
2.
2 nights?
We were a quick one.
It's just a little quickie across the border, you know, cheeky little one.
Cheeky little quickie.
And I suppose we'll put the video out about that because it was...
Are you going to make one, are you?
Yeah, I'll put one together.
Wow, blimey.
Starting off, here's where I'm going with this now. The journey started off, we said, okay, what exactly are we doing, Lucy? She says, well, I don't really know. We've got to go here. So we started in one place, which took us nowhere. And I was pretty convinced we were in the right spot. But we hit a graveyard. We hit a cemetery.
Hang on a minute, we didn't go there. We went to that other building first, that religious building first.
Yeah, we went to that, but there was nothing really in there.
I think that was a bloody important piece of the puzzle.
No.
You just because you didn't like it, mister.
No, it was dark and gloomy and graffiti and
moldy. You got some.
I didn't like
dark
it at all.
Dark and gloomy, didn't you?
Yeah, dark and gloomy. It wasn't pleasant. But then we hit it. Normally we'll get something's coming in. You see when she does that. I'll leave her the channel. So as we hit the next one, we hit a very large cemetery, and I was like, okay, Lucy's great in cemeteries. You always get good stuff here. And really, we didn't. And then we started pulling things apart. Okay, why is this gone wrong, and where are we going next? And actually, with Lucy's team, and I know some of them will be watching, do such a good job behind the scenes. And then all we need is a breadcrumb, and then it's off then. Because once we get that little breadcrumb, or let's say a spark between Lucy and me, go bang, 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 bang. It just bounces back and forth. We were decoding something last week, and Lucy mentioned 2 colors. And I took that and went in a totally different direction and got it done just because of these colors. It was something that nobody would have thought about except for me because of my weird head.
But I'm the weirdo.
So take it from Lucy. The Dark Night, the Soul, guys. Watch for the symptoms and watch for the signs. And if you get scared, if you think it's going to be like some sort of spiritual or off-worldly encounter, this is the problem with fear. It's, no, I'm not going to do that. You're going to have to do it at some stage. So if you find yourself going back in the loop again, you might as well get it over with. Face your fears, take it by the bull by the horns, and get it sorted out, because it's going to bring you to the next part of the journey. I'm not even sure if I've done mine. This is something that's only been coming up the last really 24 hours. Actually, did it happen yesterday?
What? When
you started channeling the Dark Night.
Yesterday.
Dark Night of the Soul.
Dark Night of the Soul.
I thought she was specifically pointing at me. What have I done? Why is he happening to me? So
I was. In all honesty, guys, I was.
You're
I was
lovely.
like,
Been nice knowing you, mate. Nice. This has been fun, but Dark Night of the Soul's coming, mate. You get your shit together. You
know, sometimes I have to share these things. So there is a final stage to the Dark Night of the Soul. That's not where it ends, by the way. So we've got step number 1, which is kind of like the awakening part of it. Step number 2, which is like your enlightenment part of it. So what is it that you're here to do? The initiation side of things. And then the final piece of the puzzle is about you having to realize that you are going on your rebirth. So this is about you getting reborn, you coming back online and you creating whatever it is that you need to be creating. So it's a huge, huge, huge process that you go through in this. And, you know, that's why I say to you, if you are still the same person as before the massive amount of trauma that you had, I'm sorry, guys, but that isn't your Dark Night of the Soul. You will come out looking a very, very, very different person to the one that you went in. It's just impossible after it. And anybody in the chat, you know, you let each other know. But from my perspective, going through a Dark Night of the Soul, you can never return to be the same person again. Like, you're just not. It's just not possible to do that. There may be little elements of you that remain the same, but you physically cannot. Now, if you get the opportunity to go on the awakening journey, and I'm not talking about the bloody truth of paedophilia and all of that. I'm not talking about that nonsense at all. I'm talking about you and your soul waking up and coming back online to what it is you got sent here to do. Now, many people out there believe that they're doing what their soul mission is. Trust me, many of us are deluded in that sense. So this is about being rattled and shaken and everything being stripped from you until you are at a point whereby you go, I have no other option but to change. I have no other option but to be reborn into a much higher conscious state, so a much higher frequency. And that is what we're going to see people going through. Am I boring you, darling?
It's just exciting times, isn't it? Because you're not boring me at all. I'm just doodling on a bit of paper while you're speaking. Exciting times to see what exactly people are going to do with it, because there's only going to be 3 or 4 different types. Those that accept it, those that reject it, those that will check out, and those that are like, okay, I'm confused, I'm in it, but how do I, where do I go next? It's exciting times we're living in. A lot of people say that, oh, isn't it great to be alive? It's exciting times. But there's never been a precedent of this before, this much consciousness all being woken at the same time in human capacity. Through the internet, we can share all this information and reach so many more people. And it's amazing. It's amazing, reaching out across hundreds of thousands of kilometers and time zones to get that one message out. There's never been a better time than to find out exactly who you and what you really are and what you're doing here. What do you, we talked about the statistics of how you actually even became to exist, which are phenomenal. Astronomical, and here you are still saying, well, I don't know if I should do that. I'm just going to carry on doing a bit of bingo. I like bingo. It's great. I only spend 20 quid a week on it. I'm allowance on bingo. Focus on what you're really here for, all these distractions.
But if you continue to allow yourself to be that person that is looking all around rather than looking inwards, you are going to go through a painful journey.
Oh yeah, and you'll have to do it 2 or 3 times.
Like, that's the fundamental truth of it. And people, you get a little bit frustrated with me when I say this stuff, right? Because, Lucy, everybody's living their life, blah, blah, blah. We are not living normal life right now. Like, I don't care what people say. This isn't about the dongs. And by the way, yes, I did have dongs, didn't I? In my see, I had dongs. I had all sorts of weird and wonderful things.
Some of them had to look up where they were. What country is that?
So
they've actually changed countries now. He's had them so long they've changed the entire name of the country. Like some of the stands, Krakistan, Arsistan, never come back as Stan, terrible food as Stan.
So the point is, you have to make sure that you are recognizing your distractions and actually doing something about it, because for as long as you're looking outwards, you're not going inwards. Okay, it's so important. This is about going inwards. This journey is about figuring out who you are. And for as long as we're distracting and, playing the fool and taking our life as if it's just a bit of a joke, then, that is why people are going to go through the pain. And honestly, with all due respect, like, anybody that I love, I don't want to go through pain. Like, I would love for him to just to be able to be like, babe, like, this is the areas that you just need to focus on. But it's not my job. Like, I'll say things like, your dark night of your soul is coming, but I wouldn't. I don't give you ins and outs details.
I was eating breakfast when she told me. I was like, what now? Can I finish?
It wasn't.
Can I finish first, please? Is it coming right through the door now?
Oh my God, the Grim Reaper's coming.
And by the way, when we say, don't be so literal with it. We all need a little bit of distraction. Lucy and myself will stick the TV on and watch an episode or something. We're not sitting there 24 hours a day immersed in this. And it's also not healthy to do that. You've got to take your time out and switch it off and do normal things. Have a walk outside and have a bit of a crack with your friends,
That's what you've been good for me for.
Having a laugh.
Because I never put the TV on until me and him started dating. Yeah. And he will literally make me sit and watch some shit.
A lot of it, there's some codes in there, we've seen a lot of films that I've seen years ago say, let's rewatch this now, knowing what we know.
Yeah.
And, like, oh my God. And they're full of codes. But we're not saying don't have these recreational moments where you just, you can put your feet up, have a cup of tea. I mentioned bingo. She says, I love bingo. There's nothing wrong with bingo, really. We're just saying, don't let the distractions distract you forever. It's all very well. Take a break, take a 5-minute Kit Kat break, as they say, and switch off. But in our case, it never really, really switches off. We might be sitting there.
I don't ever switch off, do I?
And something will pop up.
He'll often say to me, Lucy, you got to stop. And
she won't.
I can't. Well, I can. I tell them, like, when I go to bed. Well, I used to tell them when I go to bed, like, no. But now, obviously, because we're in such a period of time of rushing, like, I feel now that we're rushing towards the finish line. Like, it is the final last chance saloon kind of thing right now, which is why David every morning will be like, what did you say to me this morning? Something about a field.
Yeah, she said, I was standing in a large field last night. And I said, oh, no, you didn't say last night. She just said, I was standing in a large field.
No, I thought you said to me you were walking through a field last night.
Yeah, that's what you said to me. But last night was a quiet night. The 2 nights before that, it was like 17 people in the bed.
Your lucky night.
Well, not really. Some of them were old men. And most of them are dead. In fact, they're all dead. So, but interesting historical characters that I would actually like to chat to. So I've got the next best thing, a private messenger here that gives it all back. I don't have anything else to say.
Well, there's a couple of questions that I people are like, Lucy, can you answer this? So
Go.
I'm just going to go back through these. So let's go back. I see one there. Oh, okay. Let's go back to the beginning. Let's start at the very beginning. Let's start. I saw something about peripheral vision at some point.
Yeah, that was Lizzie.
So.
She's saying she's seeing things out of professional.
Welcome to your awakening journey.
Yeah.
Like I don't have much to say on it. Like you will see shadows. We're coming online, guys. Like you are going to be seeing things. You are going to be hearing things. You are going to be smelling things. Like I've got nothing to say, guys. It's not. Without being disrespectful, it's not a big thing. Like you got to get used to this stuff now. We are going to be having spirit walking around. Like in your place, your other place, we were sat there the other night, weren't we? And I was like, babe, a spirit's just walked past the door. And he's like, what the heck, Lucy?
Yeah, I see things out of the corner of my eyes. I was in a house with young children in it, and I saw something that wasn't nice, and I shot up and confronted it and cleared it a couple of years ago. But yeah, I can see things out there as well and go, oh, it's there. So yeah, I think it's a part of the journey, part of the awakening, part of what you're supposed to be doing to identify the different interdimensional. Does the interdimensions do exist, and there are things that are moving in and out of them.
Yeah, you've got to remember, guys, all of these realms are like spinning at the same time. So we're going to start seeing things from different places. That's why David is getting such a hard time when I'm in super conscious at the moment, because I've got all of these different realms just coming in and chatting to me. And for some bizarre reason, I seem to be verbalizing it right now. Do you want to answer that question for you?
Which one? Dave, I'm in the USA. Can I purchase ivermectin? I did. You can go to mahoneylive.com and get all of the meds on there. We have everything in stock right now, so it's really quick to get to. I've actually said I can't purchase from anyone. I have medical doctors for the last 3 years, and I'm 73 with no vaccines and no test.
That word, please?
Yes, sorry, and no tests. Still had 7-hour surgery.
Okay, let's go to your question. Was there any dong and dinner in there? Yes, there was. He was like, Lucy, you can use these. I'm like, I know, babe. Kind of off topic a bit here, but oh yeah, that's the question. Yeah, we can go past that one because we've done that one. I think there was a couple more questions.
I'm scanning.
Yeah. Cool.
I think we've covered them.
No, there's another one further down. Looks like we're also like, yes, I've commented on that now, so we're good. Keep going.
Can't remember my dreams for very long.
Okay, what I would be doing when you wake up in the morning, the first thing you do is lie still. Most people move, they answer an alarm, they pick up their phone. Don't do that. If you lay still, you allow the imprints to stay within you, and then the first thing you should do is pick up your journal and write them down. Then you won't forget. The journal word, babe.
The dark journal.
Trigger!
Are you scanning? I think we've covered everything. I can't see.
Hang on. Yeah, keep going. Hi, can I ask a question? If you had to describe your soul as an image or a feeling, how would you describe it? I'm finding it difficult to get this connection. What am I doing wrong? Lizzie, why do you need to do that? That's my question to you. Why do you need to know? Why do you have to have a connection to it? Why can't you just know that behind your eyes, the thing that's looking out is not the person that speaks? Like, what is it that you're looking to get from it? If I can understand that, then I can understand how to describe it to you, because we're all very different. You know, like for me personally, I don't give a damn what my soul looks like. I just know that she's there and that she's driving me forwards. So like, it's kind of like a bit of ego coming in, having to know what it looks like or having to know what something is. That we're stepping into a world where we're not thinking. We don't need to have the validation and the facts. We're going into a feeling, you know, and I know that might be a little bit triggering to hear, but it's very, very important that we step away from this. Like, what does it look like? How does it show up? What does it feel like? You know, just feel into you. Like, if you close your eyes, you know that your physical vessel is still there. But if you open your eyes, you know that there is something behind looking out. You know that there is. That is your soul. What does it matter what it looks like?
Good point.
You might have an opinion on that that's different. But for me, why do we need to know? Like, why are we overcomplicating things? Why are we putting way too much pressure on our mind and having to, you know, why are we bringing all this stuff in?
A lot of people always talk about who was I in a past life, and I was one of these. And then Lucy said something one day. She said, "It doesn't matter who you were. It just matters what you're doing now and the lessons that you learned in that past life." But now I want to share something, so I'm going to do the circle because I thought this was really good. Because a lot of people saying, "Oh, past lives, I want to remember what I was doing in Roman times or anything else."
How do you, sorry, you draw that and I'll answer this question.
Yeah.
Most kids born after 2015 have been spiritually sighted. It's actually 2000. The kids that came in from the year 2000 forwards, they were all a completely different breed. Yes, different brands of breed, if you like, but it's from 2000, everything changed with regards to the children. How do you know if you choose to go through bad health for many, many years? If you're going through bad health for many, many years, you've chosen it, trust me. Very, very triggering point, and I know I really upset people when I say it, but if you're going through it, you've chosen it. What if you wonder how to answer who you really are, having problem answering for the mindset program? Again, you're getting in your head about this. Go back to what used to make you happy as a child. Like, who were you back then before the world told you who you could be or who you couldn't be? Remember, we've all put limitations on ourselves. We've all decided that we have to be the perfect wife, we have to be the perfect husband, we have to be the perfect dad, we have to be the perfect mum, we have to do certain things. It's absolute nonsense. Strip all of that back and imagine being the best version that you can be, and imagine everybody else mirroring it to you.
I've done my little diagram now.
Go for your guns, babe.
Past lives, when people say, "Oh, I keep having dreams I was alive in Roman times or World War II or Egyptian times," and I wish I could remember all of those things. Well, and how is it that I keep remembering these things? And I say, well, this is the easiest way to explain it, because most people think it's a straight line. So where you are now, in this present life where you are, you can't see back there to where you used to be. So World War II or Victorian England or Apache America, whatever. But if you imagine it as a circle and you're standing in the middle of a circle and you can look down any of these directions, all you've got to do is turn your shoulders. This is the meditation that they talk about when they do this.
Meditation?
I don't
do you
do
even
this.
know what that is?
No, I don't meditate. But this is it, guys. Look, you've got to imagine that you're in a circle. I'm going to blot her out like that. You're in a circle in the middle like that, you see. So you can all you got to do is turn your shoulders to Greece, to Atlantis, to the time of Jesus, to Rome and Egypt, the future, or wherever you want. This lifetime, if you want to go back and revisit something, your parents, for example, instead of thinking about your past lives in one continuous line, you were born, you die, you're reborn again. Think about it as a circle, the wheel of life, if you want to say, and put yourself in the middle of it. And then if you can do in your dreams or in your meditational state, you can go back and just turn your head around and look back down that line, straight back down to where you lived when Jesus was alive, or look over here to how it was in ancient Rome or Greece or Atlantis. And these are all the paths that you can draw past experiences on.
Or alternatively, we could all just say, I'm Lucy Davis this lifetime. I'm going to call on the things that I love about Jesus. I'm going to call on the things I love about Mary Magdalene. I'm going to call on the things I love about St. Francis. And I'm just going to be them. I'm going to embody them. And I'm going to remind the world what we're capable of doing.
Yeah.
So, full stop, the end.
See, with that one, you don't need really to be looking back about what happened before. If you really feel it necessary, then yes, but just focus on who you are, what you've got to do today.
And the qualities you love about the people that you want to know if you were them. Like, if you resonate with somebody, go be that person. It's so simple. All we are here to do is to ignite what we got sent here to do. Some people are very, very caring. Other people are not caring in the slightest. If they're not caring, they're probably bringing another gift. There's no judgment. We don't need a world of everybody being so over caring and like fixer mentality. Otherwise, we wouldn't get anything done. So how about we all just step into what really resonates with our soul and just do it?
There's one more question. How do you know if you chose to go through?
I've done that.
Have you done that?
Yeah, I did that
when I was drawing
your beautiful picture.
You don't like that, do you?
I do.
She likes to be focused on here and now. And me too. I don't think about what happened in past lives. A lot of people are obsessed with it. Oh, I wish I could connect. wish I knew.
Well, everybody's got hung up on being bloody Jesus. And I don't mean to be rude.
Or Cleopatra.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. It seems to be those two that people are so caught up on. Like, what does it matter? You know, like a lot of people are talking about how Jesus is going to resurrect and this kind of stuff. I'm like, Jesus wouldn't have put up with any of this nonsense. If you read the Bible, he was throwing tables around and stuff. He was pissed.
Yeah.
Like, and people are just sat there waiting for stuff to happen. Like, you're not Jesus if you're sat around on your arse waiting for stuff to happen. Like, sorry about the mic drop moment, but it's the truth.
Focus on who you are and realistic things that you can do.
I'm so passionate about this.
Yeah, I'm going to go and sit over there so you can just throw some things around in the kitchen.
I'll throw the table around and I'll be Jesus. Right, I think we should end it there tonight, don't you? Thank you.
Good show, guys. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Lucy's going to be in, we're both going to be in the UK next week. And also, if you haven't bought the book, do it. You should see the messages we're getting from people reading it. I'm only on page 30. Because I'm terrible.
Slacker.
Yeah, I just keep, most of the stories, she's told me some of them. Your whole grandfather one about this whole incident of this night would be in the book, though, wouldn't it?
It's the whole book.
The whole book is about that.
The whole book is My Dark Night of the Soul, guys.
Yeah.
Just so you know, like book number 1 is My Dark Night of the Soul. Book number 2 is going to be around, the next phase of how you rebirth yourself, and then the next one.
What?
You're going to be in.
Oh,
He's going to be in book number 2, actually. But
I want to proofread it first. See you later, guys.
Right,
see you next time.
It's been an absolute privilege to have you guys on tonight. Safe travels to everybody coming over to Soul School. I can't wait to see you all. Make sure that you keep in touch with each other in the Facebook group, and we will see you at the weekend, guys. All right, lots of love. Take care. Ciao, ciao.
Well done, Miss Lucy.